Weather Scope.
Good Sunday morning, everyone. It is half past the hour. It is the 30th of November, last day of the month. Thank you for joining us. I'm Bruce Edwards. Glad you can be here. Hope you've had a terrific holiday weekend. Not too much turkey, not too much stuffing. Didn't overdo it. And I just got to see friends and loved ones and really had a great weekend of it. Now, if you are traveling today, my friends, be careful out there because, of course, a lot of folks are traveling today, and the weather is not the best. Because if you look at the water vapor imagery, you can sort of pick out the problems. We see a batch of moisture here east. That same old low we've been watching all week long coming out of the west. Well, it's slowly meandering through the Mississippi Valley right now. Ohio Valley sees wet weather. And then we see moisture here flowing into the west. We've got a batch of stuff coming in here and then a low pressure area developing here and some problems out there. So again, east and west there are problems. Really, the best travel weather in the country will be across the western plains and the Rocky Mountain states. Won't be bad at all. It's not bad now in the northeast. You've been pretty dry this weekend, albeit a bit cool, but not terribly cold. So it hasn't been a bad Thanksgiving, but I'm afraid this afternoon the wet weather's sliding in because the warm front's coming up and southerly winds will be bringing in some of that moisture. We're seeing it in Pennsylvania, west central New York State right now, and that's going to be sliding on through New England this afternoon. So eastern seaboard travel on I-95, New York State Thruway, Ohio Turnpike, Pennsylvania Turnpike, generally going to be wet. Indiana Turnpike, I-75 coming out of Michigan. You got fog, and then when you run out of the fog, you get into the rain into Ohio and heading down through Kentucky and into Tennessee. So a lot of the main arteries here are messy. Here's a look at the radar now, and again, quiet through New England at present, but you get up along the Thruway on 90, and you get back through Rochester, Syracuse, Buffalo. You've got some rain down in Binghamton and Elmira. Parts of the Pennsylvania Pike, I-80 are also a little soggy, but mainly light rain showers with the warm front. You see it's all heading off to the east-northeast, so it's going to be encompassing New England later today. Now along the Pennsylvania Pike, you can see some wet weather here over towards Harrisburg, and then the lighter rains into Ohio. You get down on I-77, the West Virginia Turnpike here through Charleston. It's generally wet the whole way through, winding through the mountains. And then from Richmond south, you get the wet weather on I-95. Now, into the Ohio Valley, the upper low is right here, drifting east, and the circulation around it is bringing this wet weather. And I'll tell you, I-70's got some big puddles on it between Columbus, Indianapolis, and then heading it westbound over towards St. Louis, but even north of that on I-55 around Springfield, there's some pretty good downpours here. And again, I-75, like I said, there's fog in here from Detroit to Toledo, and once you get out of the fog, you get into the rain down towards Dayton and Oxford and Cincinnati, right on down to Richmond, Kentucky, continuing on through Lexington, working down to Jellicoe, Tennessee, crossing the mountains with showers, into Knoxville, some rain here. Now Nashville, I-65, I-24, I-40 is generally wet because of some heavier downpours, so some problems out there. 34 in Boston right now, 44 in New York, 49 in D.C. Again, temperatures haven't been a problem. A little chilly in Burlington at 19, 22 in Albany, 35 Rochester, but 46 in Erie, 42 Detroit. So it's when you get up here into upstate New York, northern New England, where these temperatures at or below freezing. If you get a little of that mist falling into the colder ground, we could get a little patchy freezing rain to start out with, especially in the valley. So early this morning, be careful out there. Southbound we go. Well, 73 is the hot spot in Miami, 69 Jacksonville, 66 Tampa, 67 Charleston, 57 in Atlanta, not bad at all. 43 in Oklahoma City is the cool spot, but again, still it's not all that bad. They're behind the front, getting the northerly wind, so it is a little chillier here, but the upper low spinning here. It brought some severe weather, some severe thunderstorms around Haywood County. That warning has just expired, but out ahead of it, thunderstorms around Nashville, down the Tennessee Valley, rain to the Piedmont of the Carolinas, and then in the warm sector out ahead of the front today, strong to potentially severe storms with some heavy downpours will rake the Florida Peninsula, starting now in the north central part, and it should be working its way south through the course of the day. And ahead of the front could be some strong storms here as well. And with a blow-off from some of these thunderstorms, we could see another little squall line developing in the Carolinas. Right now, as we said, I-95 south of Richmond, you're soggy, especially around Raleigh, Durham, Tobacco Road, Chapel Hill area, catching some pretty good downpours to Elizabeth City and Kinston, down through the coastal highways towards Wilmington, Myrtle Beach, still some showers if you were thinking about one last round of golf before the weekend at the Grand Strand. You'll be dodging raindrops for sure. Columbia, south of Charleston, some showers, and there again we pick it up at I-75. South of Knoxville, it's okay. You'll get a little misty drizzle and fog, so you got a little fozzle out there. Watch out at Hiawassee River Valley, that dense fog area at I-75. It's going to be messy. And look at the heavy storms now running through Nashville, right through the heart of Music City, down towards Huntington. We have some showers and storms. And look at the twist here. See that? That's where the upper low is. It's drifting to the east. It is beginning to move. But it's a slow process, that is for sure. Now down Florida, way out ahead of the front, from Jacksonville south to St. Augustine and Daytona, through Palatka, Green Cove Springs, into Ocala, working to Cross City, Cedar Key, back to Newport Richey. Some wet weather here. The areas of thunder and storms are moving to the northeast, but this whole region is going to be sliding south along the peninsula today. It's not going to move fast, so we could see some pretty good downpours here as well. A couple of inches of rain not out of the question. Now, as that moisture wraps around the low, you see the showers. They're spinning all the way back still into Missouri and parts of Kansas. And then to the north of the rain shield, you got the fog out there. Be careful. It's awfully soupy again, and it'll take a while for that fog to burn off, especially as you get into Michigan. Now, with that low into Arkansas, there's your wraparound moisture strafing parts of Iowa, northern and western Missouri, into eastern Kansas. So, again, I-70, generally a little damp here. You get a bit of a window around St. Louis to Columbia, but then from there westbound towards Russell, Kansas, you get some showers to contend with. I-35 and I-29 are also a little damp as well. 46 right now in the best location of the nation, Cleveland, Ohio. 56 St. Louis. We are below freezing here in the northern plains, but again, when you consider it's the last day of November, that's not hard to take at all. Denver checks in at 22, Phoenix 47 this morning, San Diego at 60, LA 57, but a soggy 52 in San Francisco. This is represented where that front came in, sort of broke apart, one little bit of energy here. The main bit of energy right here, and low pressure forming, and that's going to be what we'll be watching. Still a light shower on Puget Sound and some sprinkles around Lewiston, Idaho, up towards Kalispell in the Flathead Valley. But as you get into California, with this low pressure area starting to form here near the Bay, you can see wet weather through the Sacramento Valley along Interstate 5 heading south through the Bay Area. Fresno got some wet weather. San Jose down to the Monterey Peninsula. Not a good day for golf, even at Pebble Beach. It's going to be real soggy here until later on this afternoon, and those showers eventually will work from Central California into Southern California as the low drops onto the south. So we've got wet weather for sure in the mid-Atlantic states, back to the Ohio and mid-Mississippi valleys with this low at midday today. It'll be advancing to the northeast. New England will get increasingly wet this afternoon, so try to travel accordingly. On the eastern seaboard, soggy stuff. South Florida could have some heavy downpours, maybe some severe storms. And with the upper low, still wraparound moisture will persist around St. Louis and Columbia and Memphis and Nashville, over towards Atlanta and Birmingham, but more scattered and lighter in nature. Wet weather into Southern California. Could see a few rumbles of thunder here and some snow into the Sierra. And that'll be moving tomorrow morning in towards the deserts, working its way towards Phoenix, Arizona. This little trough as the